So when you're graphing a piecewise function, I always start by dividing up our graph. So x is less than or equal to 0. So we're going to draw our vertical line here as 0. Then we also have a break at 3. So over at 3, that's where our graph is split up. So on the left, it's x squared minus 1. And since it's less than or equal to, we're going to have a closed point at 0. In between the two lines, it's absolute value of x minus 2. On the left, we have an open circle, and on the right, we have a closed. And then the far right of the graph, it's just 2, and it's going to be an open circle at the line. So x squared minus 1, we can plug in all of these points that are included with this section of the graph. So we can plug in -1. We have to plug in the boundary line 0. Plug in -1, -2, -3, whatever you want to plug in, and get all your values. So plug in 0 first of all. We're going to get a closed circle there. Plug in 0, you get -1. And it's a closed point. Plug in -1, and you get 0. Plug in -2, that's 4 minus 1, you get 3. Plug in -3, that's 9 minus 1 is 8. And if you plug in anything else, it's going to be too far off the graph. So this is the first piece of the graph. Now, between the two lines, we're plugging into absolute value of x minus 2. So when we plug in 0 on the left, we're going to have an open circle. So let's plug in 0. 0 minus 2 is -2, but absolute value makes that be positive 2. And we put in an open circle. Plug in 1. 1 minus 2 is -1. Absolute value makes that positive 1. Plug in 2, we get 0. And then plug in 3, we get 3 minus 2 is 1. Absolute value is 1, and it's closed. So there's our graph for absolute value. Then anything to the right, the answer is 2. Because there's nowhere to plug in. There's no x. There's nothing to plug in. So the answer is always 2. And it's an open circle at the line. Open circle at the line, and then everything else is just 2. So it's a flat line. There's the piecewise graph.